Hey guys, what's going on? This is Cheney 180 and
Lago Figs.
Chamba.
And you're watching an all new episode of Chatmigos.
Assemble! Oh, his bangs fell off. A hand fell off.
Oh,
Beast deity's quality, baby.
Yeah.
Legendary stuff.
Unfortunately, Mario could not make it tonight, so we'll try and hold it down without him. So we had Chamba blip out for a second.
I thought Chamba was like, Mario's not here. I'm out too.
Yeah, he's on peace. We're out.
Beast deities, no.
Yeah.
They shut you down, Chamba.
They did, dang. They shut me down. You're the one that was holding it down.
Yeah. Chamba, how you doing, man?
Doing good. We're going to talk toys today, so it's going to be great.
We are indeed. Lago, how about you?
I've been doing back-breaking work on the last week of summer break, so I've been building a deck outside. So pretty tired. I got to show you. I'll just send you guys a picture.
Yeah, please.
Yes, and it's a picture when your muscles are all swole from like.
For sure. How about you, Cheney?
Not bad. I can't complain. I'm excited. We're going to talk some toys today. Some very cool looking toys.
Cool toys,
yeah. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our wonderful guest. We've got David Igo. What is up, man?
Hey guys.
Welcome.
Yo.
Thanks. I'm here.
Yeah.
We were just saying earlier before the stream, it's like Dave Igo, Dave Lago. What's
it's
connection maybe?
You have to
Yeah.
cut his head off or something. You know, like
What?
only do one.
Like, what? Is it gonna only be
Like
one?
match made in heaven. This guy's talking about cutting heads off.
Highlander.
I was like you're thinking about a head swap or
There
something.
could only
at least.
be
I mean,
one.
Yeah.
head swaps
It
better.
was a kid-friendly show, but it's Highlander.
Yes.
That's
Alright,
yeah.
fun, right?
You know, it's
just-
cool.
yeah,
Listening
okay.
to the name makes me realize how cool my name sounds too.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm like, that sounds cool. His name sounds
does.
cool.
We high five through the thing. We just high five like
There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
I'll do it. I'll do it. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he
There
could
you
be the
Alright.
fusion.
or
Yeah.
Gosh,
There
this
you
is
go.
difficult.
That'd be interesting because then it'd still be Dave, but it'd be Dave Lago.
It would- Oh,
yeah,
that's
Ilago,
probably in high school.
Ilago or Ligo?
Yeah. Interesting.
Lago.
Ilago.
Yeah.
Ligo.
That sounds like a street human. That's what it sounds like. Right there.
Yeah.
Watch, there's someone out there named David Ligo already.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
wouldn't
God.
doubt it.
No.
Wouldn't doubt
We
it.
would have to chop their head off.
Yeah,
That-
that
yeah.
one. That one.
I agree
is-
with
he's
you.
gone.
That's when I'll be like, yeah,
Who's plenty.
Yeah, he's all I'm
Third.
down
Two-
with it.
Two's
I'm
more than
down with
enough.
the head chopper.
Yeah, get out of here.
Heads will roll.
Yeah. So real quick, you want to go ahead and break it down for us and let us know who you are and what you do here?
Yeah. So my name is Dave Igo, not to be confused with the beautiful original David Lago. But yeah. That's a great start, right? That's it. I'm out.
Yes,
Just close my
it
laptop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been working in the collectibles industry for 18 years, close to now. I was 3 years at Gentle Giant as an in-house designer. I was at Sideshow Collectibles for 10 years as a designer turned art director. And now I've been with Tweeterhead the last 4 years as a creative director. And all the while I've been working on like my own stuff on the side. I go way back with Chamba. Like I used to have a Satellite Soda forum board way back in the day. And so I've always been very pro, like, work with my art friends on things like outside of work and then rope them into work too. Cause I just, you know, I've known a lot of artists over the years. And so I was looking at my toy collection one day, which I mainly like, I'm an 80s kid. So He-Man, Ninja Turtles, you know, Thundercats, Silverhawks are like totally my jam, you know, early 90s too. So Street Sharks, Batman, the animated series, X-Men animated series, all that stuff was like huge inspiration for me. My favorite comic book is Spawn, just like extreme weird stuff that doesn't really make sense. I was looking at my toy collection, which is like mainly He-Man and Ninja Turtles. And I was like, what don't I have that like I want? And so I just started like, I just hit my buddy Erwin Papa to be like, hey, I have an idea. Let's talk on the phone. And so I just told him like, I kind of figured out like a formula of what I want. I'm like, I like Ninja Turtles and He-Man. I like the villains in He-Man. You know, like they're way cooler looking. Like, why is that? Oh, they're creature and they're just cool. The weird colors. You know, like I love He-Man, but still, like you got the good guys are He-Man, Man at Arms, Mecha Neck. It's like what?
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know. It's like I want like more cool looking stuff, even if they're heroes. So I just told him like, yeah, I just want to like we were talking earlier. I'm like, I just why isn't there like a shark killer whale character?
Yeah.
I just, like, there is in Street Sharks, but in terms of like the buff, like not head torso, but like a head on a body look with like weapons. And so I'm like, what? And what would go good with that? I like mashups. I like character. I love creature design. That's like a passion of mine. So it's like, how can I mix and match these things? What's my formula? So I came up with like mixing two animals and putting them on like a buff body, a la He-Man and all that, you know, fun stuff. So,
Which is genius, by the way.
Yeah.
thanks, man. So I always find with any creative endeavor, you have to have like a recipe. You can't just like kind of just, I mean, sometimes make it up as you go can work great. I'm not saying like that's everything works different for everyone, but I found as a creative, when you have like a general box to work in, it forces you to be more creative in a different way. And so I was like,
restrictions help. Yeah.
Yeah. Even basic, even loose. When someone gives you a blank piece of paper, says, do whatever you want. It's like my head. Yeah. It's like, just give me a general, like something. So when I was talking to Erwin, I'm like, buff body, bro, with, you know, two animals hybrid together. And one idea I had was a killer whale cow because the black and white patterns, I think would be a cool gel for them. I just wanted like a killer whale head. I actually wanted a shark head with horns, but I'm like, but if I gave it horns, I gave it a tattoo pattern like Darth Maul. What if it was, you know, so that's kind of like how it all came to be was that. So Erwin and I started talking. Then I had another idea. Like I love Clawful from He-Man. I love Scaletail, but Scaletail like has a hard time standing up on his weird snake body. So I'm like, I want to have really cool Snake Warrior Cobra guy with a claw arm. So I'm like, we could go lobster, crab, but we could go scorpion because he has a cool tail. So that's how
Scorpion's
Cobra.
cool.
So those are the first
Yeah.
two we talked about. We've talked about like a ton of different characters over that was early 2021 when he and I started working on this, like way back. I didn't want to rush it. I didn't know what I wanted to do. It wasn't like, let's do a Kickstarter. It was just like, let's design this and see if we like it. And we just like, he designed it, came up with a bunch of really rough options, and we kind of like whittled it down to like a look. And then we started working on Sting Cobra kind of like alongside it. We just had this kind of formula. And, you know, I started working with a buddy on the sculpt, and he was going a little bit too realistic. So I was taking the ZBrush file because I teach ZBrush on the side. And I do a bunch of my own ZBrush art. So I was like, let me try and mend this to be a little more exaggerated and crazy. Because that's something I love is like, Erwin and I talked about this, and we get mentioned in the latest Toy Collector magazine, but we both love Ed Roth Rat Fink stuff. So like big eyes, big teeth, exaggerated hands. We both like Venom, and there's a lot of the same things in Venom. And Venom you can draw like any way, but
exactly.
But still has guidelines. Still like black and white. You can invert him, get anti-venom, or you can do him regular way. He has teeth, he has a tongue, he has eyes, and then just black goo stuff. And it's like you can do almost anything with that, but still what's genius about it is it has like a framework. So we try to instill that in the line. And yeah, like, you know, DesignerCon 2021 was, I think 2022 was when I brought the first rough sculpt of Shamu. Like I got a rough sculpt 3D print. No, it was 2021. It was the first one back because of COVID. So I brought like a rough 3D sculpt. If it wasn't done, that's a great thing about 3D printing technology. Now you don't have to have something done. You can just get something to a point, print it, show it, and they can keep working on it. Prints are relatively cheap now, so you don't have to worry about it being like super polished or done. And it's great because you can test out sizing. Something that looks good in your computer, you can't like, is this going to look good in real life? You print it like, oh, I want to exaggerate things, push things a little bit more. But yeah, so DesignerCon, we brought the first 3D printed prototype, and I brought some concept art so people saw like what was coming. And that was our first like litmus test to see if like, hey, do you think this sucks? You know, is this cool? And it was great because we had adult men dig it, kids came up, were freaking out on it. Some girls were like, like I was shocked how many females were actually like, not saying it's like equal to male, but there's still like young girls were coming up and they love like dinosaurs and going to the zoo, and they're like, there are these animal things, you know, and they're like, oh, these are awesome. So
what are these buff chimeras?
Yeah.
Mass appeal. There's actually mass appeal.
Quadrant, baby, going for them all.
You gotta if you can.
Yeah, even like this last Comic-Con, I sublet my personal booth to a friend, or not sublet, but let him borrow it. Sublet makes it sound a little bit more weird, but like he borrowed it from me. And so I just had my backpack with I have a little binder and stickers I was bringing around with me. And I'm like, ran into people and I was talking about what I'm up to. I'm like, oh, can you show me? And instead of bringing out my phone and, you know, I'm like, hey, here's a binder you can hold with cool stuff in it. And my buddy, who's a kind of a big deal art director in animation, he was looking at it, and his daughter was there, and she was like 12 or 14, and she was into it. And then her mom was there like, oh, this is great because and she got it. I'm like, yeah, like just like right there I had like adult male, young female, adult female, all like into it. I'm like, oh, this is cool. You know, it's just every time you're always, you know, you should keep an open ear. You just never know who's gonna like what. Sorry, I feel like I can keep rambling. I need to let you guys
go ahead.
Sucking the oxygen out of this.
Well, you know what? We'll take that pause real quick here to check in with our wonderful Chatmigos.
Cool.
And then we need to go full into the monsters and talk about monsters for sure. But let's go ahead and check in with our wonderful Chatmigos. So thank you everybody so much for tuning in today. Please hit that thumbs up if you've not already. Share with your friends and let them know we've got David in the house. We're going to be talking monsters today. And if you're a Hushmigo, go ahead and leave those dots in there. And let's get it going here. We got Bat Force Grumps is in the house. Josh Brown, what is up? Sap Amateur Hour is here. Ender's Shadow is in the house. Thunder Crow is here. Literally Action Figs is here as well. Blunt Forest Honesty, Hushmigo it up with the dots. Thank you so much for joining us. JustJet45 is here. Snackmigo. No Chewing. What's up, Chewy? How are you? We got Justin Mohan is here. South Sandoval 82 is also in the house. Marcus E, what is up, man? Donald Layton, Hushmigo it up. Brick Something. What is up, Brick Something? Shelf Presence. What is up, Shelf Presence? We got Henrock in the house. What's up, Henrock? We've also got Manic Mike is here. Bill is in the house saying toys. Indeed, indeed. Erwin Papa, what is up?
Erwin.
We've got Machu Toy is in the house. What is up, Machu? Let's see. Renegade Figures is also here. We've got Yoko. What is going on, Yoko? Mushroom Hill is in the house. Thank you for joining us. Sonic Rockman X is here. KJ Smith is also in the house. We've got Duarte Studios. What is up, man? Thanos Copter is also here. And D Balake Make is in the house. He's doing a crossover stream with Tashi Station Emporium, so don't miss that. Two amazing gentlemen that make amazing things, so you don't want to miss that stream. Diggs Figs is in the house. Savage Saint is here. Pletho is also in the house. Flamingo Sauce, thank you for joining us. And I believe we are all caught up. So thank you, everybody, so much. And as I said before, if you could please hit that thumbs up, share with your friends, that would be wonderful.
Can I give a special shout out? Thank you to, oh my God, Brick. Unknown. Oh my God, just brain farted big time. This is bad. This is bad. Brick something, right?
Yes, Brick Something.
Yes.
Dude, he mentioned Monsters on his channel like the other week, and I just want to give him it's such a Brick something. What's it? Brick something? What's it? Yeah, it's Brick something.
It's Rick something.
He was great. Thank you.
Brick
thank you so
Something's
much.
the man. Yeah,
He's
he's
the
the
no,
man.
he was gave me a super. I didn't even have to ask him or pay him money. You know, I was like, he just like how he's nice things. And
He likes
like
cool
we talked
toys,
about
dude.
earlier. He's like,
Yeah.
it's not exactly my thing, but he gave me a really awesome shout out. So thanks, Brick something. Also, Erwin Papa, our designer's in the chat,
Yeah.
so I'm glad he's here. And then
Yes.
I love the name Thunder Crow. I just immediately like in my head we're talking monster. I'm like a crow.
You're
like,
like Thunder
Whoa.
Crow. That sounds like a
Bro.
character.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then flamingo sauce. It's
Yeah.
like sounds kind of gross, but kind of amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
And Thanos Copter. I just think of like that panel from the. I think
Yep.
it's from the Marvel comic
Yeah.
where he's like,
It is.
just
It's got
love
a
it.
helicopter.
When I was at Sideshow, everyone was like, "You gotta, here's your next Thanos statue," and they'd send me that. I'm like, no.
That would sell, oddly enough, though.
I think it would out like
It
with
would.
what we make.
Oh,
We
yeah.
make bigger stuff. I think Iron
Yeah.
Studios, like their smaller scale, would do. Like
That's
I
true.
think it would be.
Oh, yeah.
Genius.
For them, for sure. Mm-hmm.
All
Anyway,
right.
sorry.
So walk us through the Monsters.
Man, there's me holding a magazine. There, look at that beautiful unshaven face with a giant
Yeah.
forehead. All right, so I'm gonna, Josh. How old are you, Josh? Are you like 40? You about my age,
42, sir.
dude? All right, so I'm 41, so we're the same age. The
All
younger
right.
guys in the chat who I know are younger than us. Let's just say age is not kind on most of us, so embrace it while you got it. Because
Yeah.
I used to be somewhat attractive. Now I just realize what a big
Yeah.
goofy mess, and you just got to own it. So yeah.
I feel
Yeah,
you
so-
there.
So Monsters started as like a company name first. So you're going like some of the older stuff is in there. So like back when Monsters was like the company name and Kaiju Doom wasn't Kaiju Doom yet. And I was like, it kind of became its own thing. So that's why I made the Kaiju Doom Instagram account. Then Igo stuff became like the company umbrella. So think of
Okay.
Igo stuff as the Nintendo. And then Monsters is my Mario Brothers. And then
Nice.
Kaiju Doom is my Metroid. And then other stuff I'm
Love
working
it.
on will be my Zelda and all
Love
that stuff. So that's so Monsters is my first IP. That's Mad Hatter visited my booth. I didn't know who Nier was at the time. I saw this guy, I'm like, oh hey, you want to talk? He's like, all right, cool. We just
Mhm.
talked for 5 minutes about these silly things I'm making. But there's Shamumu and his little starfish. That's Shamumu's variant, Bulltooth. Sting Cobra's variant, Venom Nom, because he eats a bunch of food.
Why
And
not?
then there's Sting Cobra with his little camel spider buddy. He's a real jerk, but yeah.
That's
I want
awesome.
the bad guys to be bad. I want the good guy. Like
Mhm.
one thing. So we were talking earlier about lore and stuff before we went live. But I do have like I wrote a season 1 cartoon show outline I want to
That's
do
tight.
for like what
Heck yeah.
could happen.
That's tight, yeah.
It's kind of like Game of Thrones light. Like think like PG-13 Game of Thrones, where like good guys do bad stuff, bad guys become sympathetic. Like I know Lago, you're a Vegeta guy, and I'm a huge Vegeta guy. Just seeing a bad guy become good and then going back to Majin Vegeta.
Yeah,
There's
I
gonna
love
be
that.
little moments like that in the cartoon show. But
Lago's all right, he's cool.
Yeah, right. I'm on board. I'm on
need to
board
figure
now.
that character.
Yeah.
Done.
yeah, so the characters, and I haven't posted a ton of that art yet. That was kind of like a special binder for people that came to the show. But I was like, whatever. So it's all kind of out there. But we've designed 20 characters for this world. We have a world map we're working on, for a potential tabletop game we're thinking about down the line if the toys are successful. But yeah, I wanted it to be like we were talking about earlier. I wanted good guys to look cool. Like you can't, almost when you have your collection, you can't, is this guy good or bad? Like maybe the guy with the, like that guy definitely is bad, but like Shamumu, I think he's a good guy, but then he might do some messed up stuff that's like, so I wanted to make it a little bit more real, not just like, these are the golden children, these are the evil villains. I want it a little bit like
nothing cookie cutter, right?
Yeah. So also the thing with Monsters, the ors at the end of it is supposed to be like, or this, or this, or that. So like all the parts swap. So like, there's some photos, black and white photos of like Shamu with Sting Cobra's arm, which I think is a really cool visual. And, you put Sting Cobra's head on him. I can actually got the guys here.
Oh, okay.
These are work in progress prototypes, I will call them. But got my Shamumu toy here. So it's a basic articulation. I call it classic articulation.
It's very classic.
Yes.
So and then the waist swivels on this guy. So we're gonna also work on. I'm gonna take off the base. They're gonna all come with like a universal base, just in case. I like stability. Being in California where we have earthquakes, any little bit helps. So yeah, so actually these are 3D prints. So they have loose joints right now. It's like the arm moves, but can like fall down kind of easy. So like this will be fixed in production. But
for sure,
I'll talk to my production guy, Chris Garwich, who you guys might know. He's from the Four Horsemen. He had his Biblical Adventures Kickstarter a couple years ago or a year ago. Okay. But he's helped me do all this stuff in China because I don't have any experience with plastics. My 18 years, it's all like resin statues and stuff. But
okay.
He was kind of giving me feedback that like, so the arm comes off, but like if, hey, Dave, this hand needs to come off. So if the hand needs to come off, we might as well put like a swivel in there too. So there'll be some like extra swivels where we can.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So that's like that arm coming off. And this is Sting Cobra, the jerk. The jerk face.
Wicked.
I just gotta say I love the designs on these, man. Like they
Thanks,
look
man.
they just look crazy and awesome. Like I just love how they came out.
That was the goal, was crazy awesome,
They look
you can never go wrong with crazy awesome.
If I was a kid walking down the toy aisle and I saw these, it'd be like number one.
Done.
This
That's done.
is like perfect.
Look at that.
I'm sure Mumu. So like
yes.
These are like 1 point. You said 5.5 inches roughly.
Yeah, so they're actually 5 inches bottom of the foot, top of the head. So like with the horn or the fin or Sting Cobra's tail in the base, they go up a little bit, but they're basically 5 inches. Yeah,
perfect.
So they pair. If you want to look at something, I got a bunch of toys here, but if you're like, what does it look like next? I'm trying to think of like what's a good. All right, so here's my Triclops, because if you're gonna have a human dude, you might as well be,
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, great.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So they're chunky, and then they're a little bit bigger than Ninja Turtles, but the idea is they could fit in that world, and they're supposed to be like 8 feet tall or something. So not to flex too hard, but here's my Shawate with missing shoulder pads. But you can kind of see how you look. I love this character. I just hate how expensive he is now. I can only afford the one without his shoulder pads.
That's okay. It's still got it. You still got it.
Yeah. I love, dude. He's such a good, like that face. Look at that beautiful, like like.
Yeah,
all the cool Ninja Turtles are like the expensive ones, like Winged Warriors and this guy. I'm like, why can't it be like Mona Lisa or something I don't want?
I don't care about.
But the two of my three favorite Ninja Turtles, actually, not to jump around too much, but like I love Ground Chucks. I think highly underrated.
That was one of my favorite ones as a kid.
Look at those
Ever.
colors.
Yeah, colors are awesome, and then Triceraton is
Of
amazing. You know,
Mhm.
love Triceraton. And then I got my classic Slash. He's undersized, but we forgive him because it's how cool. And this is the yellow belly variant, no big deal. But these are like, if you guys know anything about Ninja Turtles, you know he's like the slightly rarer one. You know,
No flex at all. Just
I have all the Slashes. He's like my.
nice. Is your favorite?
For He-Man, it's Merman. For Ninja Turtles, it's Slash easily.
Okay.
So yeah.
It's a good one.
So that's how those guys kind of like size up to those guys. But yeah, Shamu, you know, so the head swivels, the waist swivels. We're gonna we have to put a cut in the tail, so it has to come off so the tail will swivel.
Nice.
And stuff like that. And we're gonna actually give it because the way I had him originally, I was like, I'll just do these 2 arms, you know, and then that's the arms that come with. But my buddy's like, well, if the hands come off, you might as well just like give this hand a weapons hand so you can dual hold weapons. Then they're going to come with 2 expressive hands. So we're going to beef up the offering with them a little bit, which we haven't talked about. I didn't want to post too much about till I like to wait till things are kind of like more solid, you know, instead of just like, oh, I have these plans and nothing works out.
It sucks
that's smart.
Yeah. And then so Steam Cobra, this one doesn't have the waist swivel yet, so he's stationary. But the hand will swap out on him too. And we're actually going to give him like a clawed hand, like a hand that can hold a weapon. So like the variant Venom Nom, who I have a acrylic cut. This is my cheat for the con. I didn't have like enough time to.
That's genius. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I took a 3D render and just Photoshop colored it. But he comes with that hand. I like how it's rotating. Like I'm going to rotate around the figure. But I realized I can't. To me, I want to make the variants not like a downgrade, but they can't be cooler than the original offering. So I'm giving Sting Cobra that hand so you can have a weapon and the little tiny claw hand too. But then the fun thing about this guy is his tail's going to come off, and this key swivel will be the exact same size as the arm, so you can put like a scorpion
tight
on the arm.
Ooh,
that's
and it'll match the head. So if you wanted to, you could just put like Shamu's head on his arm, or you could put Shamu's head on his butt and just have like. You know, a little butt party.
Yeah.
Friendly? I think it's kid friendly. Butt party.
Butt party's fun. Fine.
That's fun. But yeah, so these are I always try to like bring something new to every con. It's like the first designer con was unpainted Shamu, and it was version 1. And then the second time I came with an updated sculpt and got him painted, and I came with unpainted Sting Cobra. And then this designer con last December, I had Sting Cobra painted. I brought the 2 acrylic cutouts of the variants. I brought the little buddies, which I have right here. So these are because like Ninja Turtles, you got to have your little buddies. So this is a little starfish guy.
Love it.
Cool.
He's
a combination with this one fish. I forgot what it's called, but it's like crazy. He's also got a little butt.
He has a butt.
Love it.
Gotta have a little butt.
It's key. It's important.
And then I got this guy, and I hope. I mean, I think the factory will do this okay, but he's really extra because he's a little camel spider, horned lizard hybrid, but he's got a little knife behind his back. You know,
that's awesome.
So he's like, "Come at me, bro." No, like he's hiding the knife. So he's like, "Come at me, bro." So he's a real jerk. This guy.
I love how fun these designs are. By the way, like I could tell that like in the creation process, like you were having so much fun doing this.
Thanks. Yeah, you know, a lot of people, again, like they had great walk-by value. People were like, I don't even know what this is. What are these things? Like they would just see them. I wanted the colors to be really vibrant too.
That's one of the things that I was going to comment on as well.
Greatly.
Yeah. Irwin, I mean, that's all Irwin. I basically like, I've always loved his weird color palette, and he actually has a fun trick for his, I'm colorblind actually. I can see color, but on the spectrum, if they get real close to each other, like blue and purple, they actually overlap a little bit for me. Okay. So I'm like, I know it's blue or purple, but I can't tell you if it's unless it's really purple or really blue.
Gotcha.
Well, like same with like bright greens and yellows, they look pretty. So I'm like, I think my logo's green, maybe it's yellow. I don't know my logo colors, you know, but so I was like, Irwin, come up with color. He gave me some color options, and some of those color options are so cool. We actually use them for the variants. Like
it's perfect for variants, you know.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you're going to be launching a Kickstarter soon.
Yeah, so finally, I've been talking about it for like a year and a half. And they're like, you know, basically 2 years since the first Designer Con happened. People are like, what are you going to do with these? I'm like, I don't know. And then the next designer con, people like, you got to let me know. I'm like, yeah, Kickstarter next year sometime. I'll just kick the ball down the road and worry about it later. And then eventually, I was like, this last designer con, I'm like, oh, April, May, probably. But then earlier this year, just got like, my life got a little crazy. My full-time job became part-time. So I need to like hustle and figure out a couple other things. But eventually I knew I'm like, I have to do this. I love working with Tweeterhead. I love, my everything I've learned in the 18 years I've been working, but I'm like, I want to do my own thing. I think pushing this out there and committing to a date. So it was actually at a PowerCon last year before DesignerCon, where I was at a booth there with Tweeterhead, but I brought my monsters with me. And I was in the green room where we're having lunch, and Eric Treadaway of the Four Horsemen was there having like lunch with his family. And we had these big round tables. I'm like, can I join you guys? And I've known Eric for a few years. He's great. He's become like a big brother to me. And he's been super supportive of this. He like every year he would hit me up, be like, when are these coming out? When are you doing the Kickstarter? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'll like one day, just one day. And so it was this last PowerCon where he's like, Dave, I want these. When are you going to do them? I'm like, dude, I feel like I have it figured out. I just need like a production guy that knows plastics, because I want to do this like legit, not I stumble my way through it. I'm like, I want to do this with the guy that's done it. And so he pointed, and literally sitting next to me was Chris Garwich. He's like, and I didn't know Chris at the time. And Eric pointed at him. He's like, you're working with Chris. He's going to make these for you. Cause I'm like, okay.
All right. Thank
Chris,
you.
Are you cool? If you work on these with me? Eric's like, I don't care. He's doing it because I want the toys. I'm like, Chris, are you cool if you work on these with me? And Chris is awesome. He's a spazzy guy. Like I feel like I'm a high energy spazzy guy, but Chris makes me look shy. I'm like, holy cow. I'm like,
that's awesome, man.
That's great.
Yeah. So I started talking to Chris like late, like after that. So it was last year was weird for deal with a couple family tragedies last year. So after PowerCon, kind of focused on family for a bit.
Right.
And then set my head up for DesignerCon. And then I met Near from Mad Hatter, and it was great. Like we really hit off. We did that video, and I didn't even know I'm kind of an idiot in like the toy world. I'm just like, this is what I like. I don't follow a lot of stuff. And like Near really pushed me. He's like, you got to do these. People won't stop harassing me about like these monsters. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I didn't even know like, so I finally followed up with Chris. I'm like, Chris, I don't know if you remember me. He's like, yeah, totally. Let's talk. So it was like April earlier this year. We had our first discussions about this stuff. And so in June, we locked in the date, September 10th. I got him I'm still doing a couple last edits to the digital sculpt files, but I got him mostly finished sculpt files right after Comic-Con. So like literally at Comic-Con, we were talking about it. He's like, get these to me early August at the latest. So I got back from Comic-Con, and then I was like working on these files, getting it to him, letting him know like these are the things I'm still working on. And so I had the date locked in. So it's kind of just been like I had to set a date, otherwise I knew it would keep getting kicked down. So
yeah,
it's on,
Sweet.
Yeah.
And when does it kick off?
September 10th it goes live, and then it goes through October 9th, I think is the final day. So and I know any later than that can be bad because it gets too close to the holidays. A lot of people don't like pre-ordering things on the like if you have it in stock, you're like, oh hey, this thing's up for sale, and then you can get it, then they'll buy it. But it's like, hey, support my Kickstarter in October, November, December. They're gonna be like, dude, Christmas holiday,
right.
Yeah.
I'm not giving my money to something that doesn't exist yet. So it's kind of like the end of the year. It's kind of like the last period people say you should do a Kickstarter. I'm glad I'm not going on right this second, because like you have Todd McFarlane just went with a Evil Spawn, and then you Brutal Realms.
Todd's fine. Todd's fine.
Yeah. Todd.
He chose to go against my Kickstarter that
I knew what he was doing.
We got Justin here that says, will the characters get any bigger? Will we see bigger sculpts?
Ooh.
So there's one character, and he's in the sticker pack, which I have right here. His name's Berserker, and this is all Erwin Papa art. But he's going to be a bigger figure. So that's like, he's not going to be super big, but he'll be like, if Shamu moves this big, I think Berserker is going to be like that. So not anything insane, not like maybe down the road there'll be bigger guys, but I want to keep it so they could still all like not every single thing on every single thing can interswap perfectly. but like I want like Berserker has like the two small heads and the giant head on his chest. I'll be sculpted in with the two smaller heads. I want those to be able to swap with like Mumu's head, Sting Cobra's head. I want him to have like one smaller arm that could work with their arms, and he has like one giant arm that would maybe swap with another bigger character down the road when I do a bigger character. So
nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Lago, you have any questions?
I just think they look wonderful. And like you guys are saying, they look like you're having a lot of fun. They look like a lot of fun just looking at them, you know. The logo, the colors, everything going together, it all pops. When I heard about them a while ago, but then earlier today I went to the page and I looked at it and just everything just popped at me. I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks awesome.
Thanks,
and
man.
then it's kind of like, I know you were saying like you were into Image, right?
Yeah.
It's like if the Turtles line became like the Image version of the Turtles line. You know what I mean? Like,
do you remember Jim Lee's Turtles?
Yeah, everything just like
that.
Jim Lee's
Oh,
Turtles.
It fits that like.
Oh,
The what?
Yeah,
exactly. These?
It's like everything turned up a notch, you know, like like extreme. It's extreme. That's what it is. Like these are extreme. Man.
Extreme.
It's so awesome.
I feel like the extreme stuff started happening like in the late 80s, right? And then the early 90s, obviously, with like rollerblades and Mountain Dew and Taco Bell and
Yeah, it definitely has that.
I want it to
3D Doritos, like
I want this to be like a hybrid of 80s and that 90s extreme weird. Like, I mean, if you like you just like adults made this, adults okayed this, like back with some of that stuff. It's like, you know, I wanted a bit of that, and I love that you guys dig the visuals of it too, because that's what I think is important, is that, you know, they stand out on their own, and then you want to know more about them. Not like, hey, read this narrative bio card and it'll make you believe in them. It's like, I just want to know them visually first and accept them that way. It's kind of like, not to get weird about it, but like when you go to a bar to like find a chick or whatever, you're just like, you go visuals first, then I want to know your personality. Not like, tell me about your personality. Oh, you seem great. You know, it's like, you know, this isn't like, what was the dating game? The blind dating game? Where you're like behind the wall. It's like, no, this is like a menu of like, oh, these are cool. I want to know more about these, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm married now, so I can joke about that. Bars,
she's watching. She's in the chat.
Yeah.
Erwin Papa wants ask the chat, what animals do you want to see?
Oh,
from you guys, not me, because I already have a list of a million things.
Yeah. That's the chat. What do you guys want to see?
Ooh, that's a tough one. There's plenty. Because we don't even know what you've got lined up, so
that's true.
Yeah,
you can end up naming some stuff that you've already got.
Yeah, and that I try to make the animals like based on popular things I think people would want. Like there's an owl character, there's like a crocodile character, you know. There's I wanted a rhino, I wanted a hippopotamus, but I couldn't figure out what to mix them with, so I just mixed them together. So it's like, here's my rhino hippo guy, you know. So there's a lot, but I try to look at like the toys I have. Like, oh, I have a camel character from Ninja Turtles, I have this guy. So I try not to like repeat too much. Again, Sting Cobra being kind of like scale tail with legs and a clawful arm was an exception to the rule, but I try to what isn't like for like in Ninja Turtles we have, you know, Dr. L and he's an elephant, but we didn't have like a mammoth character or a ram character. So Woolly Mammoth was a name my cousin came up with, actually.
That's tough.
He was just like looking at all the other monsters. He's like, what about Woolly Mammoth? I'm like, I see it in my head. We're doing it. So I like hit up Erwin and we started on some designs for that guy. But yeah, so what are your guys' favorite animals? Like what do you guys like? Let's get back to it.
Wubbits in the chat says, I am the wife.
That's the
Thank you for joining us.
Dang. I mean, like, dang, he's here. Dang it.
Justin says, I would like to see some dinos, just stuff that looks cool, I guess. You're on the right track with visuals.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so we have so in the Mad Hatter review thing, if people want to go back, you guys don't have to do it here, but in there in the binder, I forgot if he might have clipped a little bit of that out, but so Bone Picker's this hyena vulture hybrid. He's like my Mumra. He's the one character that kind of breaks the mold. Mm-hmm. He's the only one that's not a buff, beastly brawler bro. He's like a skinny, decrepit. He's like my Mumra with a giant staff. But I didn't want him to transform into a big buff guy because I thought that would be a little bit too on the nose with like Mumra, you know, going from mummified Mumra to transform Mumra. So I want him to have like muscle. So basically, he's from the Magma Mountains, which is like the cool volcanic, you know, end boss battle area, like Snake Mountain kind of a thing. And he
Mhm.
basically finds a pile of dinosaur bones. And the whole story is based around this thing called the Goop, which is this magical substance that allows like the body parts to swap. Like, because when you think of it, like, oh, in toys it's cool they swap, but then you're thinking like, how do I make this work in a cart?
Yeah, in lore, what is it, right?
Yeah. So like, how does the arm go from here to
Mhm.
here? Let's see if he skips them or if it shows.
It's cool that you explained it though. You've got
Yeah.
yeah.
Trying to figure. So it became a toy idea for. There's Bone Picker. So
Oh,
Bone
that's
Picker is
sick.
like kind of a bad. He's a sympathetic bad guy. Sting Cobra is the jerk bad guy. He's like nothing really good about Sting Cobra. He's just a jerk. But there's the two Dino guys. So Chompbeak, Thudhorn. They're kind of like his Bebop and Rocksteady, but they're glow in the dark skeletons. So think Scare Glow meets dinosaurs meets Bebop and
So cool.
Rocksteady. Kind of
Super
deal.
awesome.
Nice.
There's Hammer Claw's a favorite of mine. He's a hammerhead shark lobster. Bug Boss is gonna be like a mold, like a whole thing of bugs, like just melded together. And then we got some names I still haven't figured out yet. Like sometimes I have temp names. I'm like I have a snail lamprey character because I wanted a snail. And I just thought like I love Leech from He-Man where he has like the hand suction cup. So
Heck yeah.
like what if you had like lamprey mouth hand things? I'm like, oh, lamprey snail guy. And then I just called him Snail Bro. It's just like a temp name. I didn't like it. And then my wife's best friend, Mandy, who was at the con, she's like my booth babe. She's like she's like a sister to me. I love her. She goes to all the cons with me because my wife is like super introvert. There's Mandy, the redhead in the back. She helps me, even though she was clearly not helping me. What a slacker. I'm deducting her pay.
Yeah. Just noticed now. He's realized now that she's not even
I have
helping.
proof. He shows her the
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
But she was hanging out with my wife there. I mean, because they're best friends. They're hanging out in the living room while I was getting ready. I think it was for right before a designer con when we were kind of like doing a pack list and everything. I'm like, hey, here's a binder of art. Help me come up with names that had Snail Bro on it. And she's like, what about Escar Bro? I'm like, oh my God. So
She kept
There
bro
you
in
go.
there. She kept
Yeah.
the bro in there though.
Got the
Yeah.
bro in there in the
Yeah.
best way
Yeah.
possible. So
Mhm.
Escar Bro was born.
That's
Love it.
awesome.
So some of these
s-
names I might change the last second, but
Sonic Rockman says, "Will the figure,
Oh,
will the
boy.
figures have a lot more articulation, like knee, elbow, wrist, ab crunch, and so on?"
so they'll have not much. I call it classic articulation. So waist, we're gonna work in wrist articulation, but no knees, no elbows. Again, like I'm just going for like the classic Ninja Turtles, He-Man,
Street Sharks. Street Sharks had that basically.
got
Yeah.
Street Sharks too,
Yeah.
like Bucky O'Hare. I don't know if you guys remember this classic toy line, but good old Food Fighters,
Oh,
like
dude, those are so cool.
Very classic. Very classic.
Heck
tons
yeah.
of the ab crunch on this
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah.
and the head swivel on him,
Rotate his
his
head.
legs
Perfect.
kick,
Heck yeah.
But yeah, so just going for like again, like I know it's not for everyone. I know a lot of people are into more of the super articulated stuff. They love like what we were talking about earlier before we went live, like really posing these things yourself. But I'm very much more like I go for visual. I like getting the arms up in a battle thing, and then they sit on my shelf. I just look at them. I'm not like let me repose
Well,
them or anything. So
Well, the kind of like the cool thing to that, like the other side of that is more. These will be more. How do I word it? They'll be more adaptable to kids.
yeah,
You know what I
100%.
mean? Because it's like you don't have to worry about the popped out of the ball joint or yada yada yada. Like so like kids can pick these up and have like a blast with them too.
the hard thing about that, which I found out recently, was with kids and age groups. It's like, oh, you gotta worry about choking hazards.
Yep.
You gotta worry about
Yep.
them. Like Sting Cobra, we're trying to get some articulation in his claw, so like the bottom thinking do a little bit. Because I'm like, you can't just have a half open claw. It's either gotta be all. So one thing I might change in the sculpt is if I don't get articulation, I want it to be more open, so you can actually like
Sure.
put a monster in the claw and you get like, oh, I got it, instead of have it being half open.
Mhm.
But if we had to do articulation, I think it would have to be a certain like a
Sure.
harder plastic to get a pinless thing, which
Right.
then would make it like a stabbing hazard for kids. So I got
Right now, are you looking at like a softer plastic so that you can actually like flex it slightly to actually have a character?
I
fit
want
on
to
it?
be like classic Ninja Turtles, so you can take them and
Mhm.
pull them out a wall. And there's
Right,
a
right.
little bit of
Yes.
give. They're not like
Right.
super hard, but they're hard
Mhm.
enough to where they like hold up. But even the weapons. I know Ninja Turtles had to do softer plastics.
For
So
sure.
all the weapons are like fun warp swords and stuff, but I'll probably go slightly harder. Not like Mythic Legions where they're
Not brittle,
like
yeah.
like super like oh man, you could stab someone with this.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
somewhere
if it
between the
snaps,
two.
for sure.
Yeah.
A question in regards to those little characters that accompany them.
The
Are
little
they
buddies.
gonna? Yeah, the little buddies. Are they gonna be similar to muscle figures in terms of their?
Keshi figures. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. You asked the right question.
Oh,
So
lovely.
I made them so they go with this is a Street Shark one from Mattel, but
Mhm.
they're supposed to be like the single color, like all
For
the
sure.
Ninja Turtle guys. Like this is the dude from Gorilla, or Sergeant Bananas. I always forget what name he is, but you know,
So the plastic would be more closer to that.
yeah. That's
Awesome.
what I did with these guys.
Awesome.
So.
Love it.
Yeah, so I just want to be fun, bright, weird colors, and with the variants. So with like Bulltooth and Venom, I would do a color variant on these guys. I would go with their color aesthetic. So,
Tight.
Yeah.
Marcus, he says Cassowary.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Or Pistol Mantis Shrimp.
Oh yeah,
Centipede.
Good.
Centipede would be cool too.
Ooh,
And then Stormfire says elementals would be cool. Fire element, water, etc.
So we're doing so I might be jumping ahead a little bit here, but we're doing we're toying around with the idea of a tabletop game. That's where like the world map comes from. I have the figures, so I could just shrink them a little bit. It's all about fighting over territory, kind of like so in the cartoon show idea. There's a setup because they're all like from different areas. And that's why we wanted like, you know, like even Shamumu here, his design of his arm tattoos a little more like Pacific Coast Islander. It's not just like random, you know, which was Erwin's idea. Erwin brought so much to these guys. He's amazing. But so we're trying to like build cultures around these things and like how do we get them out of their bubbles? So like what happens? Like why does a story even happen? So that's been a fun challenge to figure out. And so with this, I wanted to make it so they each have their own deity, like each giant section of land has their own like who they worship. Some might just worship like a small rock because they're kind of dumb. Some of them might be like, oh, this is the old Hydra Lord or whatever. So that's where I think the elemental kind of stuff would come more in handy with like that kind of stuff.
That's
okay.
Cool,
Sonic Rockman wants to know if any effects would be included.
That's a good question. I didn't see like are you guys talking like the explosion like
like fire effects or something like I don't know,
like electricity or water,
stuff like that.
Yeah, so I don't see these guys having like magic ability. They're like barbarian dudes. So like
what about like a slash effect even?
So that's what I was like. Slash effect would be kind of cool, but I don't know. I figure with like when you have more superposable stuff, you could like pose that
makes more sense
and it works. But with like an arm that does this, I swear like a splash effect would cover half his head. You know what I mean?
That's true.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Not to making excuses for my choices.
That makes
sense. No, it makes sense. Justin wants to know what the price point is going to be.
So Chris and I are still working with the factory. I'm hoping, so don't take me to court on this, but hoping like sub 50, you know, like trying to go for like 45 or something, even though I know it's a little expensive, but I really want to push the sculpt and the details and the paint apps of these things. So it's not just like, oh, it's just 3 colors or whatever. And like, oh, we mold it. Like, I want it to really look like a hybrid of almost like statue, like, oh, like, I don't know, just what you remember having as a kid. And sometimes you look at that now and you're like kind of disappointed, you know, like you go back and watch Silverhawks. It's like really hard to watch as a TV show. You're like, adults wrote this, you know, like, then you look at certain things and some things hold up really good. And sometimes you're just like, oh, now I'm an adult. My taste has matured a little bit. Kind of like when you're in college and you drink cheaper beer and then you get your good first paying job and you're drinking higher beer. It's just like, so I wanted this to be like, hey, I'm not going for like, here's the first wave of 8 characters. Like, here's the first wave of 2. And so, hey, I think like, and they're going to be small run. I mean, as much of a run as like Kickstarter and some additional distribution after the fact would be, but they're not going to be like mass produced like other things. I'm also not amortizing much cost. I mean, Shamu was 100% unique sculpt. Sting Cobra's 100% unique sculpt. Literally, the only thing those 2 pieces share is going to be a black base. I'm going to have like a universal base. And then obviously, like Shamumu's variant is going to be like everything's reuse except for the head and a new weapon he comes with. Sting Cobra, new head, and I think I might just use all the wet. Like he might be just a new head, but then totally new paint. So it's like, and those I want to make Kickstarter exclusive only. I don't want to make those like out there in the world for everyone. I just want to make that like, hey, if you join the Kickstarter, you like these characters, this is the only place you can get them. So that's really the only place where I'm amortizing my tooling costs. And I don't know how much you guys know about tooling costs, but steel tooling is like not
expensive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super pricey.
We're guessing it's gonna be $20,000 or $30,000 for each figure. So I'm looking at $50,000 to $60,000, $70,000 just for tooling, just for two characters. Not even like, here's my body buck, and then I can use that across my first wave of 8 characters, and then each one comes like a head and a couple weapons. Or
not a lot of reuse here.
Yeah, no, not at all. Brick Something said the toy collecting community is so broad and diverse that younger kids would love these, but I know so many older kids would be down for these as well. Agreed, Brick Something. Agreed.
Thanks, Brick Something. Yeah, just you're so cool. I just love, like, I always feel honored, like anytime, like I don't know him in real life. I know a couple people in real life. It's always cool, and like your friends give you a shout out. But it's so cool, like seeing him. We just got to know each other recently, and he did a pair, and get to know. I mean, I've known Chamba for, we were talking earlier, like close to 18 years now, or 20, like whatever.
Yeah, it could be 20 at this point, but it was
crazy.
a long time. Yeah.
I don't know my twin brother from another mother, David Lago, at all. I did a 23andMe test. I'm like, I have a brother.
They changed his surname,
though.
Not first name.
Crazy. Yeah. I have a real twin brother, so you're the triplet. You're just like you're the third.
Yeah, there's some great ideas in the chat here. There's like Army Ant. Let's see. Was there?
And so that Bug Boss wanted to be kind of like, when you think of like Garbage Pail Kid and creepy crawlers, kind of like that weird gross thing. I want Bug Boss, the one guy from the video, and I'll I try not to talk too much about the future, just in case. I like to think this Kickstarter will get funded, but if it doesn't, I got to figure out the future. But I'm pretty sure it's going to work out.
Well, Josh Brown says, I appreciate not having a Kickstarter that's $600 all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like, so if you're offering just the 2 figures at around $50 price point, I mean, you got some killer looking figures for a really good price.
Yeah. So we want to make it where if you get one figure, it's 50. If you want the other one, it's 50. If you get both, it'd be like $90. You get.
You're making it even easier too. So
and then if you if later on they're available in retail, it's marked up a little bit. I want to it's cheaper on Kickstarter. Hey, it's like you get a bundle deal, and there will be like all-in packages where it's like, hey, like I even want to be like, some people hopefully will want 2 sets, 1 set to tear out, 1 set to keep in the box, or 2 sets to tear out, 1 set you keep as is, then the other set you mix and match all your parts.
Oh,
so you get like 4 different characters, so they even get a bigger discount. Where I think it's like $30 off if you buy 2 sets. I'll be like, I'm trying to make it as like appealing as possible. I'm not doing this to like get rich. I'm doing this because I want to make them. I want to share them with everyone. But Erwin,
oddly enough, not at all. Not at all.
We only worked on
that one thing.
Yeah.
So not as far as art direction on that, there wasn't really much at all. I don't recall any. No.
It stopped? I don't even think we finished it because
we didn't finish it. No. It just stopped. It was fun. It was fun to work on.
So like when I was at Sideshow and I was art director, I was like Greg and Tom, the owners of Sideshow, were like really cool about like, hey, what can we do with the building? Can we do some artwork on the outside of the building? Can we do some artwork on the inside? So I pitched the idea of like, we had this TV game room with couches. It was also a meeting room. I was like, what if I love Marvel vs. Capcom. Like, we're used to like the 2 sides coming at each other. So I'm like, what if we take all the licenses we have, we do good guys versus bad guys. We get like Marvel, and it's Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, Endoskeleton, Jason Voorhees, a T-Rex, and a whatever. So I came with this like weird mega list of like every license we had, and it went like 3 different artists worked on it. Jeff worked on it at one point, and it was like I was really stoked. Then just like, nope, we're not doing it. I'm like, it would be so awesome.
It happens, right? It's crazy how like plans just like, we got an idea. A couple months later, it's like, not anymore. And it's like, all good.
Yeah. It was literally the only thing we worked on.
Justin wants to know, are there any troop builders in this toy line?
So I didn't know how to approach that because I think of them all as like their own character. I haven't really figured out like even Bulltooth, who was Shamumu's variant. I was like this guy. I was thinking like, oh, maybe he would be like a red Senate guard from, like Star Wars, where I could see like two of them flanking Shamumu. But then I was like, it's just, I don't know, something about that. I just felt like I immediately just want to tell his story, make him a character. Yeah. So like down the road, there'll probably be something. But for now, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, these are the characters. These are the stories I want to tell. And hey, there's variants because I want to amortize some costs. And I think these look cool to me. I don't want to just make it a variant just for variant's sake. I want to be like, oh, this is cool. Hopefully some people might be like, oh, I like this more. And I'm making the variants add-on only. So you can't like, but I made like, oh, hey, here, you can do a small pledge of this. Then you can buy this guy. But the pledges are going to be like, hey, I have family members that might want to throw some money my way, but don't want the toys. Hey, here's just you want to throw some money at me and I'll, I can buy the artist team lunch. I can focus on better quality control. Yeah. There'll be that. There'll be like, I want to do a digital art of book. I was going to do a physical printed book, but I might still make it physically printed, but I think digital will just be like an easier thing. Like send people PDFs.
Way easier, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then,
okay. So the Kickstarter starts on September 10th.
Yeah.
And the base price is going to be flexible somewhere around 50.
Yeah, I'm hoping sub 50. I'm hoping like, 45 would be great. It's 50. I think that's an even number. Again, give people a little bit of a discount if they buy two, and then there'll be like a weapons pack add-on so you can kind of mix it up a little bit more. So
okay, awesome. And then so at the base level, you're offering two characters from the jump. Yeah. With possibilities to, for the variants and whatnot down the road. Heck yeah, this sounds good, man. This sounds good. We have any well, since you don't have pricing set yet, do you have an idea on your goal, what your goal is going to be?
No, I have a number in the back of my head, but I don't want to like say it out loud.
Don't put it out there.
I always I always prepare myself for the worst and hope for better. So I'm already thinking like, oh, I need $1 million. Let's just say I need $1 million. Hopefully, I don't need that much. But yeah, and I mean, I want to make it aggressively low because I want this to happen. I'm not like again looking to make I'm not like, oh, here's my Kickstarter, sweet, cash out, buy a Porsche, drive away, come back out the car door. Suckers, just like because dude, I've seen Kickstarters totally screw over people, and my goal is I want this to become more than just toys. I want this to become an IP, a new brand. I love Ninja Turtles, I love He-Man, I love seeing like new incarnations of those things. But like, what's the next He-Man? What's the next Ninja Turtles? What's the next thing? Not to pat myself on the back, but like this is the next $1 billion IP. But I mean. You never know. I don't think like Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird when they made Ninja Turtles were like, yeah, this is gonna be like this is like they're just like, all right, we have crazy ideas. Yeah. I figured like make something I want, hopefully other people want, and if it does good, awesome. Like what's next? What's the next? Like plan a roadmap without like letting myself down. Like I have like if this funds, I want to get these shipped first before I even think of the next Kickstarter.
Yes.
I've started to think about the next Kickstarter. It'd be like, two, maybe a third. Maybe it'd be like Berserker, Woolly Mammoth, and Bone Picker. So like it grows a little bit. Would that be like, here's 8 characters?
It's like it's 8 now. You can mix and match them all now.
Yeah. So that's great. What I'm working on with like the talking head video for Kickstarter is like let people know like, hey, these are the start. If this goes great, here are some plans for the future. And then, I'm even working on a toy commercial, which I'm really excited about.
Yes,
dude, I'm really. It's like a legit. Yeah, I ran into this guy who was a director of photography at Monsterpalooza. Like, said my booth at Monsterpalooza. My friend Mandy, the redhead from the video, was standing there working this time. Be very helpful. And this guy came up. He had this like crazy camera rig, and he was like, "Look at the booth," and he's like. Talking to her, and she's like, "You look really important. You should talk to Dave." So she's like, "Dave, this guy has crazy camera equipment." I'm like, "Oh, hey, crazy camera equipment guy." And he's like, "These are awesome." He's like, I think he's like literally art. I think he was like 41, 42. So he gets it. He's like, "This is like my childhood." I'm like, "Awesome." He's like, "I want you to do a toy commercial for the." I'm like, "I've wanted to do a toy commercial." So he's like a legit film director of photography. So I met at his Hollywood office. We talked. He's giving me like a discount. It's still not cheap, but he's giving me like cost on everything. Not like
That's awesome.
he knows I'm like a guy. I'm not like
That's
a student.
brilliant. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
yeah.
So we hired some kids. I commissioned a buddy,
That's awesome.
Garth, to
This is gonna be
make a
awesome.
set.
This is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Sculpted a set for the dang thing. Like I was looking at like all these other we're looking at all these toy commercials. I'm like, I can't just do a black tablecloth with smokes.
No.
We like sculpted the magma mountain. So it's
Yes.
actually
That's
like,
wicked.
it looks so, I'm like, and then there were a couple hiccups of the filming, which was it was a huge learning experience, but like it was funny because like I had to write an outline. I'm like, all right, I got to write an outline. And the night before the shoot, I'm like, I got to go with some visuals. So like I
Yeah.
storyboard the whole thing. So like I can't, and their storyboards are ghetto. I love it. That's gonna be like a stretch goal. Like, oh, we get to a $2 million. Will you get my original copy of my storyboards? We're like, what is this? You can't even tell what's going on. But like, so in the toy commercial, I did temp voices until like I have a buddy who's gonna do some voiceover work for me. But in the script, I just for editing purposes, I need to like hear it with the talking head. So I did this whole bit about monsters. The more you get, the more you can make. It shows like all these different things. The
Oh,
idea
that's
is, like,
awesome. I
you
can't
know,
wait to see that.
yeah, and then the idea is like you show all the swap outs and you show other figures, and you're like, oh my gosh, I see the possibilities. So I'm hoping that kind of stuff really gets people excited. Then also like some stuff I haven't figured out exactly, but I want to figure out like I don't know, like I love things with a cause, not just like, hey, money. So I'm working on like certain other incentives. It's like, hey, if you do this one and add a little extra, I donate to animal shelters because it's all animal based. I'm a
that's
dogs
smart.
better than people person, So I'm trying to figure out like other ways to get people excited, not just like, hey, this is a Kickstarter for toys. It's like it's toys and there's a bit more behind it, and then giving back to people. Like I'm going to try and work out the numbers, hopefully, where every 10 sets, and I'll put this in the Kickstarter. This isn't exactly what it is, but like, hey, every 10 sets sold, I'll donate a set to like a children's hospital or something like that. So kids can actually get these things that wouldn't know of the Kickstarter or anything else.
Right.
Just a kid in a hospital playing with this would be wicked.
Yeah.
And they just show up. There's like,
Yep.
hey kid, I know life is hard right now, but here are these toys. You'd be like, if I was like, that'd be,
You know what? That's awesome because it's like for a little while that kid's gonna forget about all the crap going on and be like, this toy is cool. Like this is awesome,
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out what that would be exactly because I can't lose money on this thing either. But like, hey, any extra I make, this amount goes to this, and this would go to this. So just trying to figure that out. Now I don't really know if like to make.
Well, you can even have a what is it? You can even set it up too, where like you can buy for that cause. So it's like if you wanted to buy towards that.
You're spoiling the secret.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what?
We're thinking that way though.
Yeah. We are out of time, unfortunately. So I want to thank you so much for hopping on with us today. This has been an absolute blast. As I said before, these things look amazing. The colorways, the sculpts, the friggin' paint applications, everything looks great. When you either around the end or when you're done, you have to come back on and tell us some stories throughout that happened to you throughout the Kickstarter, because we definitely want to follow up with you and see how it all worked out and whatnot. So
thanks so much,
thanks
guys,
for joining us, dude.
And feel free to collab on the on Instagram posts so we can share everything.
Yeah, we can share what you share and stuff.
Yeah,
dude, thanks so much, guys, for giving me some time and I can't believe it's already been an hour. Like
I know that went quick.
I teach and I know I have to fill a 3-hour thing, so I know it's like I gotta fill up the dead space. Hope it was
this is fun.
You're awesome, no, man, you were good.
Yeah.
So how do we keep up with you?
So the main one I use is Instagram. I have I'm calling it Twitter because I'm dead naming Elon Musk's his other, I don't care. X, Twitter, whatever. I have a landing page on there, but it's like I'm horrible at Twitter. It's like all these restrictions of like only 80 characters. I'm like, dude, do you know me? Like I write emails regularly. They're like 2,000 characters. I can't do this. But Instagram and Facebook are the two main ones. At the Monstores with an O, because someone else already had Monstores on both of those. I'm like, what? And they're like nothing like this. I'm like, what is this? So I was like, I didn't get them. Dang it, you know. So at the Monstores on Instagram and Facebook, and then on both those, there's a link to the Kickstarter page. So if you guys, anyone who wants to just sign up to get notified when it goes live, and I swear this will be even if you're not going to buy the toys, I'm going to give you a reason to throw some money at this thing. Again, for the causes, like we said, like for animal rescues and hopefully children's hospitals and stuff. And I'm going to make some killer content. That's just, even if you don't want them, you're going to just want to be a part of the ride. And I think that's something I've learned from seeing Todd's first Spawn Kickstarter. His weird videos, like him just like in his bedroom with cue cards, like, we're going to give you free stuff. Free. Look this out. 3 hands. This hand, look at this little hand. He like holds it up in like front of a piece of paper. He's like, look at this. We're going to give you this weapon. It's like 0 production value, and I love it. So I'm like, I'm just going to own that. Just do a bit of that. And then, you know, there's going to be some fun stretch goals, not just like new unlocks, but also like free add-ons to help incentivize people to keep sharing stuff. So, yeah. Thanks again, guys, it means a ton to be able to share this. And thank you for giving me a little of a platform to just hog for an hour.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Chamba, how do we keep up with you, sir?
You can follow me at the Chamba on Instagram and Twitter, on the Toymigos Discord. They're Not Dolls on Thursday, Chatmigos Assemble on Tuesday, and also this Saturday at Frankensons at the Toymigos.
Nice.
Yes, that's this Saturday is the meetup?
Yep.
Dude, I'll probably I have to triple check my schedule, but I'll probably have to go with you guys. Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. Lago, how do we keep up with you, sir?
You can find me on Instagram and YouTube, Lago_figs, and here on Tuesdays.
All right. And you can find me and Brooks here, who's hungry. Cheney180 on Instagram, Toymigos Instagram, Toymigos Facebook group. Okay, I get it. Toymigos Discord. And check out the Jada Toys Street Fighter Facebook group. Also, check out They're Not Dolls on Thursday. We're going to be having Brutal Realm to come hang out. So come check that out. That's going to be a blast. And then, as Chamba had said, Saturday is the Frankensons Toymigos 4th annual meetup. So come hang out. It's going to be a blast. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to be here, and we thank you for that. So as always, I am Cheney180.
I'm Lago Figs.
Chamba.
I'm Dave.
And Chatmigos.
Assemble!